Good afternoon, everybody. You're stuck with me again today. It was another rough night. I didn't get to sleep until about 9 o'clock this morning, and Teresa was nice enough to. She kind of insisted that I go ahead and stay in bed, and I didn't get up until about 3. But it's just um, I was having some more stomach issues, which I need to talk to the doctor about, and then a lot of leg pain and a lot of back pain. So, sucks getting old, but it's better than the alternative. So, Teresa asked me to do the video again, and today is November 19th, 2022. It is approximately 6:12 in the PM, and it's cold outside. It's up in the 30s, but we're not getting slammed like parts of New York. With I saw one news blip earlier that there's some areas that they were supposed to get 5+ feet of snow. So we dealt with a lot of that when we lived in Wyoming, and I've always said to live in Wyoming, you either need to be incredibly tough or incredibly not right in the head, and it helps to be both. So it's kind of nice being here in a much more moderate climate. Well, I like to. One of the things I did when I ran the liquor stores is I would always look up strange holiday days for that particular date. And a couple holidays for today is World Toilet Day and National Adoption Day. I don't know how those go together. So, you know, the World Toilet Day, they're trying to make awareness about some of the third world countries that maybe don't have the facilities like we do, and need to get out more cleanly standards for some of these people. And my hair, it looks kind of whacked. I fell asleep on a wet head, so you'd think by age 62 I would have learned that you don't do this anymore. But some of us are a little slow in getting the basics figured out. So today is show and tell day, and like I said, I was having a lot of stomach issues and stuff yesterday, so I didn't get what I wanted to get done. So I'm planning on doing it today and tomorrow, and then showing it. I think Teresa said she wants to show that stuff on Monday. So I believe tomorrow for our True Crime Day, there's another case in Wyoming that we wanted to talk about, and this is another one that happened in the 90s. And it's just there's some of these cases that are just they're really tragic and really bizarre. And being from Wyoming, last time I looked, had about 560,000 people for the whole state of Wyoming. It's the least populated state in the United States, and they also have about 3 times as many antelope as they do people. So, it's as far as people go, it was a very, very nice place to grow up. Very, very safe, except for a few incidences that are just, it's just absolutely horrifying that things like this could happen anywhere. And one of the things I've always questioned is why there's not a lot more violent crimes in Wyoming. Is the bad guys never know if the person sitting in that vehicle has a gun with them or not. And odds are they probably do, because there's so many people I knew of that always had a gun with them at all times. And I remember when I was working at the car dealership, there was one of my customers that just bought himself a new antique rifle, and he pulled up in front of the dealership, and then um, there was a bunch of us out there, and he pulled the rifle out of the back seat of his car, and he was showing it to all of us, and we didn't think anything of it. So and I think that has a lot to do with how come there's not a lot more like carjackings and stuff? Because they never know if that crazy guy behind or crazy lady behind the wheel has got a gun right there with them. So, couple things I wanted to show is Teresa has been making headbands, and these are just absolutely beautiful. She's not using conventional colors, and this is the first one, and they're absolutely beautiful. Hey, sweetie, was the yarn for the headbands, was this stuff that you had? Okay, and some of the yarns for these, she said she had some of them, and some of them were donated. But this is another one with, like I said, maybe unconventional colors, but they turned out absolutely beautiful. And another thing she does, and I know she's talked about this before, is when she gets little scrap yarns, and she can utilize, it doesn't matter if it's 4 inches long or 40 inches long. What she'll do is she'll tie a whole bunch of these together and end to end, and then she will use them kind of as a yarn cake, where when she's doing a hat or a headband, then it will go together. You get all sorts of random colors. She tries to keep light colors together, like maybe the earth tones together, or the spring tones, spring colors together. Um, she really works hard on trying to do that, and but she's done some very cool things. My camera setup here is I've got this little vise that I use for my wire wrapping. Sometimes I'll need a third hand to hold a rock while I'm twisting on it or something like that. And what I'll do is I'll put it in this little vise I have that attaches to a TV tray. And there's my third hand while I do the wire twisting and stuff like that. And it works out very, very sweetly. I don't remember if I talked about it. Teresa did some stuff with the wire wrapping, and she's not into it. So one of the things she asked me to do is she asked me to save all the little scrap pieces, because what she wants to do is she wants to use the wire to make shapes. Like, the first thing she's talked about is maybe doing a tree and then gluing some rocks or gems or whatever to the tree, and then doing it in a resin pour, just some sort of desktop decoration. And I think that'll be very, very cool. So I've got some more rocks that I need to do the final polish in, and actually there's two more stages. The second to the last stage, I tumble the rocks in the polish, in the final polish, and then I do run that for a week. And then when after those are done, I will pull them out. I will rinse them out really good, and then I will do the final polish, and I will use some Barkeeper's Friend and either some flakes. I'll take like a cheese grater, and I'll use flakes of either Ivory Snow, or else I'll use a little bit of Dawn dishwashing. And this stuff puts the high sheen on it. And if that's quite not where I think it should be, what I will do is I will rub some of the Ivory Snow into a rag and rub it in real good, and then use that rag to polish up the rock, and it does such a beautiful job. But I still have at least a couple coffee cans of rocks I brought from Wyoming, and I'm finding a few rocks here. I haven't got out enough to really look around here. I know North Carolina is really it has quite a spectrum of gemstones. And I don't remember right off what's around here, but I know there's a lot of gemstones. They have a lot of rock that's ideal for polishing. If I find a bigger chunk, in Wyoming, what I would do is I would go to um, car lots and stuff, not only for selling cars, but restaurants and stores and stuff. They will have the planters with the curb poured around them, and they have all these big rocks in the planters. And what a lot of times I'll do is I'll grab some of the rocks there. I mean, I found a lot of petrified wood, and a lot of them were softball to cantaloupe size. And then what I'll do is I got a sledgehammer. I wrapped it up. I'd wrap them up in a rag, take them outside, and use the sledgehammer and break it down into smaller pieces. Which it makes it very, very interesting on what kind of shapes. One rock here is. Let me see if I can get this one out. But I've got one rock here that I'm really eager to see what it's going to look like. Um, well, okay, this is one I started a wire wrapping, and I was very, very, very unhappy with the way it turned out. But this is a chunk of petrified wood. That's what happened. Is I had a big rock. Sorry about the handshakes. I had a big rock that I broke down into a bunch of little rocks, and I threw it in the polisher. It's got a really interesting shape, and I've got another idea of what I want to do for wire wrapping on this. So I'm going to do a wire wrapping around it, and then Teresa wants me, like I said, she wants me to save all the extra pieces, parts of wire, so she can use it in some of her creations. And I am always been so amazed at her artistic talent. I mean, just the drawing and painting she can do. I mean, she can do stuff, and it's just so quick and so easy, and it just comes to her so naturally. And she has can't think of the word, but ambidextrous, and she can draw almost as well with her left hand as she can with her right. And it's amazing to watch her work. I know when she was in college that she'd be working on a piece. She'd always have her headphones, and the instructor, the professor for that class, he gave her a lot of leeway in what she did. He would let her put on her headphones and ignore the rest of class. And there's a lot of times she'd look up and she'd have 10, 15 people standing behind her, watching her draw or paint. And a lot of them were instructors and for other fields. Like, I guess there was a few math people who'd come over, a few science people who'd come over, and they would just stand around behind her and watch her paint. And she's got a phenomenal gift, and I love to see her utilize that gift. Because she's got a talent that maybe one person in 1,000 have, maybe. And I can do Van Gogh version of a stick figure that without even trying. But that's about the limit of my artistic talent in the way of drawing and painting. I've got other things that I do like to do, but I give it up on trying to do it on paper. I might try now with the handshakes, because that might come up with something really, really unique. So another story I'd like to throw at you guys is when I was selling cars, and this was kind of fun. I had a gentleman from the coroner's office that he needed a new truck, and they had a camper shell that went on top of the truck. The truck he had was like 14 years old, and it had over 200,000 miles, and it was kind of running on his last legs. So he called me up and said, asked what I could do for him. And he said he preferred to get a a 2500 or 3500, which is a 3/4 ton or a 1 ton for us old guys. And but the problem is the gurneys that he had. These gurneys, they cost the government about $15,000 each. I mean, they were incredibly cool because you pull them out of the back of the truck, and the wheels come down, and you push them in the truck, and the wheels automatically fold up so you can slide it up easy. And the problem was these gurneys, at full height, they were only 40 inches tall. So, or 41 inches tall, maybe that was it. So we had to um, we had to find a vehicle like a truck where the tailgate was not higher than 40 inches off the ground. And so we tried all the heavy duties, the 3/4 and 1 tons. And if I remember right, they were like 45 or 46 inches high. And it was just a little too high. And they did not want to spend $15,000 on a bunch of gurneys that could go 4 inches higher. So we had to settle for 1500, a half ton, and he wanted a 4-wheel drive, and from there he really, really didn't care. So we tried other vehicles to see what would, if like a van might work or something like that. And we looked at Yukon, which is like a Suburban, but it was a GMC version of the Yukon. And we looked at several, and he didn't see anything he liked. He wanted to go back to a pickup. So I found the exact truck he wanted. He wanted an 8-foot bed, and he wanted 4-wheel drive because, especially, during the winter, there's places where you got to have a 4-wheel drive, and that's just even getting through the streets of town, much less if he had to go out into the county. And it was funny because found the perfect truck. I mean, everything was exactly what he wanted. And so he said he wanted to check to see if the gurneys would work well in this truck. And so he pulled up in front of the dealership, and he pulled up in his county coroner truck. And I have the truck that I was going to sell him. I've got it sitting out there. So he pulled out the gurney out of this coroner's truck. And we tried it in the pickup, and it worked just absolutely wonderfully well. But it was funny because the number of people that drove up and they see a county coroner truck with the gurney out right in front of the dealership, I think they were kind of wondering on um, if we off somebody, or maybe they had a heart attack when they saw the price of a new vehicle, or something else. But it was so much fun, the looks that people were giving us. And I had so many people question that for several weeks later. But yeah, we ended up finding them the perfect truck, and the gurneys worked in the truck, and everybody was happy. So that is about all I have. It's supposed to get cold tonight, so we're going to just kind of buckle down and hang loose, and I want to work on some resin pouring. I got a few ideas on what I want to try. I'm going to start working with the mica powder. Um, the first stuff I had done with the mica powder ended up so, it says you just use very little. And I thought I did, and I didn't use little enough. And I kind of wanted to have a semi transparency with this, and it was just, I used enough of the mica powder where there is no way you could shine a light through that. So I've got a couple other pieces that I'm going to pour, and then I've got these little, I just had one right here. I've got these little squirt bottles, and it's got the nozzle on the end of it. And so what I'm going to do is the initial mold that I'm going to use, and I'm going to fill it up most of the way with clear. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some red mica powder in this, and then kind of use the tip and just kind of swirl it through, just to see how it looks, just to give it a little bit more artistic content. And then another thing that I didn't realize until I was reading an article is they make with a lot of the silicone molds. I've got I think I showed you these once before, but I've got these little molds, and you have to fill them up in those little tiny holes there. And then once it has set up, give it 24 hours, and then you can pop them out, but you got to push them through that little hole to release them. And I really wish I would have looked at the reviews on that before I purchased it, because every review I've seen, people have complained that that they're just so hard to get the finished product pulled out of there. But that's another one where I want to pour it with clear and then add color to it. But one of the things that I read about that I didn't realize, there's so many cool things out, is this is a silicone release lubricant. And what you can do is you spray a little bit on the surface before you pour the resin into the mold, and it's supposed to make it so much easier to pop the finished product out of. So I want to try it in there, and then I've got another thing that was actually a Halloween decoration, and I want to try that with the Halloween decoration, but I'm not gonna say exactly what it is until I see the finished product and how it turned out. So any comments or questions, please feel free to ask. I'm still in the learning stage, and I'm getting to a point where, we thought about doing custom orders, but and we still will probably do custom orders, but I would rather list stuff on Etsy of things that we've already done, so there wouldn't be this big pressure of, God, I gotta get it done now. So, but yeah, any questions or comments, please share them down below. I mean, I love hearing what you all think, because I try to see as many different sides of a subject as I can, but my brain will only work so hard. And there's a lot of times I've seen a comment that I think, oh, I never even thought about that, which is, it's very, very cool, and I love hearing other people's opinion. So Teresa she will be back tomorrow. Like I said, she's not feeling real perky today, so I think I made her sick. But she will be back tomorrow, and we're going to do the true crime. And like I said, it was another old crime from the old murder from the 90s that it took a lot of years before it was actually solved. And I'd like to see you guys' input on that. So we hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. We really hope that somebody does something nice for you, and we hope you do something nice for somebody else, kind of a pay it forward. And everybody keep smiling. We gotta keep our attitude absolutely positive. And I'm supposed to say, please like and subscribe. So you guys have a wonderful afternoon, wonderful evening, and we will talk to you later. Say bye, Teresa. I don't know if you can hear that. So thanks, guys. Bye.